Hello you lot, this is KeefCooks and I'm Keef, and today I'm going to do something a little bit French. I'm going to make coq au vin, chicken in red wine sauce. Before I do that, I need to do a couple of shout outs to people who made donations during the live stream the other day. So that's Anne Sawyer, thank you very much, and Mandy Hall, thank you also, much appreciated. So during that live stream there were quite a lot of suggestions and requests whizzing about, and this was one of them, requested by Edgar Burleyman. If you enjoy this video, press like, share, etc. And cock-a-doodle-doo, coq au vin. Okay, ingredients for the coq au vin. I've got one chicken, I've got 200 grams of bacon lardons, or if you can get bacon in a block and dice it yourself, that's perfect, or even thick cut rashers, slices. Some mushrooms, a couple of smallish onions, a carrot, a bottle of red wine, half a cup of chicken stock, tablespoons of tomato puree, and 4 cloves of garlic, a small handful of flat leaf parsley, a few sprigs of thyme, and some scrag end of bay leaves. I must get some more. Now the chicken, the cock, as in cockerel, as in rooster, as in a scraggy old male bird, which you can't get unless you've got chickens in your garden or on your farm. So this is your actual chicken, hen, and in one piece I'm going to chop it into bits. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can get the portions, get a couple of chicken breasts, a couple of thighs, a couple of drumsticks, and you're good to go. A lot of recipes suggest that you should use little pearl onions or shallots. Now, I couldn't get either of those. This is a traditional French peasant dish, and for people who think I'm being abusive when I say peasant, I'm not. It's just what everybody eats, because everybody was a peasant. And it became very popular in the 70s, I think, and kind of elevated to a thing you would get in a restaurant. So, you know, people kind of obsess about things a little bit more than they should. Like, for instance, Italian wine. Come on. Obviously, a French peasant would just use rough farmyard wine that his cousin made or whatever. I'm going to dismantle the chicken, so off with the legs. And I'll cut that into thigh and drumstick. Can't find the joint. And then remove the breast, just cut down the side of the sternum as close to it as you can. And shall I take the wing off? Actually, I'll leave I'll just leave that bit on. So that is a supreme chicken. And then we do the same on the other side. So I'm going to put the carcass and the bits of chicken wing in my slow cooker crock pot. Also, when we've eaten this, I'll put the bones in there as well. I'd make a lovely stock. Now, one thing you must do when you're working with raw chicken is wash anything that's been in contact with it immediately. That's your chopping board, your knife, your hands, your iPad. Top, tail, peel, chop your onions. If you are lucky enough to get pearl onions, you want to keep them like whole. So just cut the whiskery ends off the top and tail, and then sit them in boiling water for a minute, and then the skin will just fall off when you rub it. Otherwise, magic knife. Okay, I need to deal with the mushrooms, so I'm just going to pull the stalk off and quarter the caps and slice the carrot. So that's pretty much all the prep done. We can now start cooking. I need to coat the chicken in some seasoned flour. So you want a couple of tablespoons of plain all-purpose flour, about a teaspoon of sea salt, kosher salt, and same of ground black pepper. Just mix those all together and dump your chicken pieces in, get them coated all over. Now I'm going to mostly cook this in the oven, so you want it preheated to 200 degrees Celsius if it's a fan oven, a convection oven. That's 220 for a conventional one, and that is gas 7. But to start off, we're going to kind of saute most of the things in a frying pan and then transfer them to a casserole dish. So get a good sized frying pan and heat some olive oil in it. Okay, I'm a little bit of testing onion. It's going crazy there. Yeah, so I'll put the bacon in. When the bacon is slightly browned all over, just take it out of the pan, but leave all the fat in there. So cook the chicken pieces for a few minutes each side until the skin is golden brown. Then remove the chicken and in the same pan add the mushrooms and the carrot and the onion. And just cook those until the mushrooms and onion are softened, which will take about 5 minutes. Now I'm just checking this wine to see if it's okay. That's actually very pleasant for the price. What was it? I think it was about £4 from Aldi, who they do some phenomenal deals on wine, worth checking out. Now we're going to stir in the garlic and the tomato paste and cook it for about a minute. And then sprinkle in about a tablespoon of flour, you know, in bits, and get them stir them in between each addition. Now I'll add a bit of red wine and stir that and get that incorporated, and keep on adding more until you get, you know, a nice smooth sauce. Then add the stock, the thyme, the bay leaves, the parsley and half the bacon. Alright, now I'm going to transfer the sauce to this casserole dish. These sprigs of thyme and bay leaves have done their job, so we can actually pick them out if you can find them. Now I'll put the chicken pieces on top of the sauce. Okay, lid on that, and it goes in the oven for 30 minutes. 30 minutes is up, so I'm going to get it out and have a look. Ooh, bubbly. Ooh, that smells grand. I'm just going to check the temperature. Should be at least, what is it, 72 Celsius for chicken? Okay, that's 75. So that is cooked. So this needs to go back in for a bit to get these bits more golden, and also the bacon, the remaining bacon. So I'll sprinkle that on top, because I've turned the grill on in the oven, so or the broiler, so that'll brown it from above. And that'll probably take 10 minutes. And now It's taste test time with Mrs. KeefCooks. Yes! Huzzah! Dinner.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, that looks good.
It's been a hard day, as you know.
So, have you told them?
No.
Okay. Doesn't matter.
What about the failed video that I made yesterday and spent most of today editing and then cancelled and abandoned?
Well, it wasn't a failed video.
Well, it was. Well, it was a failed recipe. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Hot. Quite nice.
That would be lovely. Piles of peas or something. And mashed potato.
Yeah.
What's the think of that? Oh, what are those very soft potatoes? They're like roasties. Yeah. Somebody did them on MasterChef the other day. It didn't quite work. So not a roasty, not a boiled, not a fried.
You don't know, dear, and I don't know. So yeah. All right. Yeah, nice. Simple, quick, easy.
Warming.
So, make it.
Fondant potatoes.
Oh God, then.
I've remembered.
Everybody on MasterChef tries to do them and they all fail. Every single one. Nobody's ever made a decent fondant potato.
But you can do them.
No, can't.
Yes, you can. We've done them before. This guy can cook potatoes. Any which way you like. It's true. It's a gift.
I like potatoes.
Yeah, it's an English gift. Come on, Keith.
Come on. Thank you for watching and see you next time.
Next time.